Hello everyone, I am Tiango Zhu. Today I'm going to
We start after greeting by
No problem.
Sorry.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to the last system entitled Music Information Retrieval. I'm Nishikimi from NTT Communication Science Laboratory. We have 4 presentations in this section. And the first presentation is a novel local alignment-based approach to motif extraction in polyphonic music from piano.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start, please.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I am Tiango Zhu. Today I'm going to present this work by me and Danny, James, Rafael, Matthew, and Philip on a novel local alignment-based approach to motif extraction in polyphonic music. So to understand or to develop a method for motif extraction, we have to first understand what is a motif. We dig into literatures and asked musicologists and found out that there's no single definition of motif, but we tend to quote Schoenberg, who everyone tend to agree with. Some of his words on motif is that it is the basis of developing larger phrases, scenes, and forms. The features of a motif are intervals and rhythms. It produces memorable shape or contour. And finally, motif, of course, appears constantly throughout the piece, so it's repeated a lot. The research goal here is to develop a music theory-based, explainable, and method that's potentially adapted to a broad range of music. So we only stick to the basic definition of motif. We avoid being genre-specific. We might know more about where the pattern would be in a sonata form and stuff, but we want to apply this method to potentially classical music, pop music, and then also, how do we interpret the main characteristic of motif being memorable? Is that, of course, it has to be repeated a lot so that people memorize it. And also, they should appear at structurally important positions such as beginning or end of the sections. And finally, it should have distinctive contour or shape so that is memorable. And last but not the least is that there are already a lot of pattern discovery algorithms out there, but they often find too many patterns. And here in our research, we tend to extract the potentially most musically meaningful ones instead of 100 patterns that might not make that much sense to musicologists. So we applied filtering and ranking methods to avoid that. The workflow of this is that, well, in our experiment, we took symbolic music data, but potentially it could be applied to audio if we use voice separation. But this should be for polyphonic music. So we first pre-process it, and then make segmentation, and then we did some discovery and ranking and selection and analysis that I'm going to present now. So for pre-processing, we consider a 12 tone equals temperament system, and we extract diatonic intervals from separated voices to represent their melodies. And if any chord appears in a voice, we take the root note. So here, this is an example where we have the descending second, and then an ascending third, and then so on. So what we tried also with chromatic intervals and diatonic scale degree and other things, but we find this one to be the best representation because it's robust to a degree of variation. It's robust to the shift of rhythm in different beats, modification of note lengths, and it is also robust to transposition of melody. And then we encode those numbers into letters so that we can use Smith-Waterman. We investigate the corresponding, so each letter here is one interval. We investigate the corresponding relationship in melody between voice pairs. So we used Smith-Waterman algorithm, which is pretty much used in computational biology for determining DNA sequences and stuff. It performs local sequence alignment to determine similar regions in two strings. So here you can see that in global alignment, which is many cases that we use in music information retrieval, we assume that each part of them are correspondent, and we try to find the best match for the global match. And then here in the local alignment, we only focus on the best match locally. And here, in this case, this is diatonic interval sequences extracted from two voices. We can see that this is a match, and here is a gap due to a mismatch. Here we make a segmentation whenever there's a gap, a dash, and then the dots here are permitted mismatch. So we could adjust this, but we define the match score as 2 and mismatch penalty as -2 to permit a level of variation here. And so they're not really the same thing, but they can still be matched. Yeah. And finally, well, we measure similarity between each pair of voices and set 20% as a threshold to make sure that the segmentation is meaningful. Because sometimes maybe in a jazz quartet or something, the bass is just always playing the same pattern that's melodically not meaningful to align it with other voices. And we also rule out the ones shorter than 3 intervals because of course that's too short for being a motif. And we take the rest of segments as potential patterns. So this is an example of Bach's piece where the yellow one shows the main motif of the piece. You can see that this is played by multiple instruments, and we can capture them from with the alignment. And then in this case, you can see that different groups of instruments are having different conversations here in red and in blue, and we can capture that also. And also, there's a shifting time in different voices, and we can capture that. And sometimes some segments can be too long. So in this case, this is Beethoven's Symphony Number 9. So the beginning of ought to dry, like da 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 da. Yeah, like this goes on for 128 notes, 3 instruments playing the same thing. So in this case, we only want a motif instead of the whole scene that's being played. How do we locate potential motifs? So we asked Schoenberg, and Schoenberg says, I got you covered. So yeah, so again, some definitions of motif. One is that since a motif includes elements of every subsequent musical figure, one could consider it the smallest common multiple. So we interpret it with our algorithms. And then another quote on motif is that, and since motif is included in every subsequent figure, it could be considered the greatest common factor. So here, if we have a long segment where we want to find a motif, we try to find the longest substring within which occurs 2 or more times within a long segment. And if they exist and consist of more than 3 intervals, they become the substitute of original segment. So here we are trying to find the smallest common multiple. And for the Beethoven case, for example, if the subtracted one, the substitution is still too long, we do it again and again until it's not possible. And here another is that we also look into the longest common substrings between each pair of long segments to capture the ones that's longer than 3 for further selection. So here we're trying to find the greatest common factor. And finally, we're ranking this by their importance measure using a directed acyclic graph. So this graph shows the relationship between all the candidates of patterns. And here you can see that a node is a pattern, and the edge shows there is a substring relationship, and the weight of an edge is one non-overlapping occurrence in another. So here you can see that this appeared twice here, so that the edge is 2. And then in the end, the importance measure is its own occurrences during the segmentation plus the out degree in the graph. Yeah, so we are trying to find the smallest common multiple again, and we only keep the top 20 ranked in this graph, so to make sure that there's not too many patterns. But actually, sometimes in the end, we only have 3 or 5 patterns that survive, and those are usually very meaningful. Yeah. Finally, we made a metrical analysis. So we analyzed the beat strings of all the onsets of the patterns to make sure that they align with the metrical structure of the piece. So they should at least start at the beginning of a bar at least once to be kept. And one exception rule is that the first 8 bars of a piece, so if a pattern appears within the first 8 bars, we don't care about this. That is because motif generally appear at the beginning of a piece. We know this is true for folk music, for classical music, we have many references for that. And finally, evaluation. So we compared with participants in Myrex contest discovery of repeated themes and sections. And in this type of task, what everyone uses is this very small data set called JKPDD, which has 5 polyphonic classical scores with ground truth annotation of repeating themes and sections. So actually, in a way, it is lack of motif level ground truth annotation because motif could potentially be shorter than the theme. But however, last week in Izmir, we just found out that Li Su's team just released a data set of 32 pieces of Beethoven sonatas with motif level ground truth. So we should have compared with that, but we didn't know that paper existed when we wrote this paper. We achieved the average precision of 72.8 and recall of 68.2%, which is pretty good. We're not the best in the game, we're the second best. So here, the best one is using wavelet-based algorithms. And then this one was using machine learning, machine learning of CHM, which is a type of pattern discovery algorithm that has at least 10 variations. And then this is using self-similarity matrix, did not beat us. And then this one was the point set algorithm plus clustering. But this team, again, they just proposed a new method last week in Izmir, so we should have compared with them. We will. And so why do we do this? Because it has potential applications. It helps us better understand the core melodic elements in compositions. It can be applied to a large data set. It is close to what musicologists tend to annotate. And also it's useful for automatic music generation. You can try to recreate music with a known motif to know how bad your system does, and or how good it does. And then finally, you can use it for information retrieval, summarization of a piece or classification, and many more. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you for the conclusion. Okay, let's move on. Discussion. And do you have any questions?
Thanks for the presentation. Sorry if you explained this already, but I was wondering, how do you decide what is a permitted mismatch?
So permitted mismatch is that we allow like two, I think three. Yeah, in this case you can see. So more than this many mismatch is a gap.
I see, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. I wonder if you can briefly tell us about the overall complexity from building the, like finding the patterns first and building the graphs and sorting all the motifs you find. Because intuitively, I think that would be around O squared, because O(n) squared, because you have to compare each pair of patterns, for string comparison. And if so, if that's really the case, then would that mean this algorithm would only apply for data level around like 100 patterns? Something.
Actually, I didn't thought about this, but why only 100 patterns?
Because that's relatively fast for O(n) squared algorithm.
Yeah, but if you can wait, then you can, yeah, then it can apply to a large data set if you can wait, yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for the interesting talk. So can you explain us about the adjustable parameters in your method and how do you adjust them?
Which parameters?
I don't know. Are there any adjustable parameters?
Yes, yes. So one thing is that, well, you can try other things instead of diatonic intervals. That's one thing. If you try chromatic intervals, it will be more precise about the pattern. And here, you can adjust the match score and mismatch penalty to be flexible, to see how flexible you are with the patterns. And also, here, I think you can do something, I don't know. Yeah, you can keep top 10 ranked, I don't know. Yeah, if you prefer to have less.
Maybe you can introduce some weight so to define the
Yeah.
transmission.
Also, yeah.
So my second question was how do you adjust these parameters?
How do I adjust?
So how do you optimize these parameters or how do you determine the values?
How do I determine? Well, we just try it with different parameters to see which one works better.
In terms of what kind of metrics?
In terms of, specifically in terms of this one, like the mismatch and match.
I mean, how do you judge if your method works well or?
How do I judge? Well, basically by human, that you see the segments and you see if they're making sense, right? Because sometimes if you have, like we tried, like maybe with penalty as -5, and then we don't have a lot of things left because the penalty is too high. Yeah, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have short time. Do you have any question?
Thank you for an interesting presentation. Yeah, this might be a quick question, but how about the inverse? Sometimes Motif appears in its inverse of the original. Sometimes it's expanded to time axis or it's to the pitch axis. Yeah, so how can we do with that?
Inverse, you mean by like ascending and descending kind of
Yeah,
inverse?
right.
In that case, I think you can extract a different thing than diatonic intervals because, yeah, you can, because here we care about descending and ascending, but if you don't, then it's 7 types, seven types of different intervals instead of 13, yeah, here, that you, yeah, you see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, time's up. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Let's move to the next presentation. The next presentation is predicting audio features of background music from game scenes from Rise Hayashi.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Ryusei Hayashi. I introduce predicting audio feature of background music for game scene. First, I explain background. For example, high temp and tense BGM enhance the atmosphere fight scene. Also, game set in Japan unify the world view with Japanese style BGM. In some composition scene, one composer composes all BGM. For example, Sephiroth BGM, ending BGM, opening BGM, all BGM. When preparing BGM, I experienced difficulty to prepare BGM for both atmosphere and worldview. I can find BGM fast, easy, but it was difficult from the third or fourth BGM, and I cannot prepare every BGM. Close background, BGM has two conditions. Condition one is BGM in the same game or scene should be consist to some extent, like green arrow. Second condition is BGM is different game or scene should be different to same extent, like red arrow. So our purpose is output BGM that satisfies these conditions at the same time. I explain how to achieve the purpose. User input game name and video. Game name sets the trained model. Trained model receives the video as seen. Our method has four processes. First, convert image to vector for each frame by CMM. Second, convert all frame vectors to audio feature by LSTM. Third, compute distance between predict and free music audio feature. Both sort free music by distance. Finally, output free music. This method have two video play process. First, save game video in MP4. Second, extract 120-second segments to avoid including multiple scenes. On the input side, process is convert from VGR to HS3 and size to 80 versus 80. On the output side, process is to extract audio feature from video and convert to audio feature in table. Table is this. Our model have CNN and LSTM. CNN convert image to vectors. Detail is the table. And LSTM generate audio feature considering a sequence like this figure. And we use Atom as optimizer, and we use MSE as loss function. And finally, our method retrieves free music by two steps. First, extract a 27 segments from a free music and convert audio feature in table. Table is this. Second, compute as movers distance between predict and free music audio feature. I introduce demo video. First, OK pattern. This is a input video. This is original VGA. This is Retrieve VGA. Matching OK. I introduce XZ pattern. This is input music, input video. This is original VGA. This is Iterate VGA. Mismatch. We conduct two experiments on this method. First, we prepare experiments first and second experiment. And second, we experiment on predicted audio feature. Third, we experiment on free music retrieval. First, we prepare first and second experiment. First, create a trained model of chrono trigger and undertail. Second, we give to each of 5 block toxin of romancing circuit 3 to the trained model of chrono trigger and input omori scene of omori to train the model of undertail. And we create free music collection with 99 free musics. This is overview of the game. We experiment on predicting the audio feature. This purpose is evaluate whether the predicted audio feature reflects actual audio feature. Red line is compute as mover distance between same scene, and blue line compute as mover distance of other scene. We find the case maximize difference between these values. As the result of inputting romancing circuit 3, the distance between 5 scenes is smaller as red zone. So I think trained model of chrono trigger reflects the 5 scene of romancing circuit 3. But the distance between other scenes is larger, like blue zone. So I think training data have too many 5 scenes. when inputting as a result of inputting only, the distance between work scene is smaller as red zone. So we think the trend model of Undertale reflects work scene of Omori. But the distance between talk scene is larger as blue zone. So we think the trend model have too few talk scene. Second, we experiment on free music retrieval. This purpose is evaluate different free music output when different scene are input. X cap M is number of M selected. M is free music, and red line is expression of X cap M. So we find the case of minimize differences these values. When inputting romancing of romancing saga 3, the same music was retrieved for walk scene and talk scene. But retrievally different free music were retrieved for each scene. On the other hand, inputting only the same free music was the retrieval for fight scene and talk scene, and retrievally same free music on walk scene and talk scene. So when inputting only, same BGM retrieval again. This is conclusion. Method and experiment is like this. In future, we will continue this research by two ways. First, I evaluate the validation of the machine learning process. And we considering music generation to avoid the copyright issues. 時間余る。Extra time, I explain why we use Undertale, Omori, Chrono Trigger, and more. This method have one premise in. This is a user selected a trend model of game that is similar to the created game. So to experiment, we have to decide trained game and created game. So we decide trained game as Chrono Trigger and Undertale. So we have to decide created game by game similar. This is result. When the trained game is Chrono Trigger, the created game is Romancing Saga 3. And when the trained model is Undertale, the created game is Omori. Extra explain. That's all on the presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this interesting presentation. Okay, let's move on to the discussion. Do you have any questions?
Hello, really nice and interesting presentation. I just wonder, like, if you have envisioned this for some kind of real-time solution in which you can generate background music as you play the game in real time. I mean, not necessarily that you have to generate at the moment, but maybe you can generate, because you know that probably the player is going to a place, and then beforehand you can like compose using your system along the game. Have you think about that, or you have any thoughts about that?
Real-time music compose.
Yeah, kind of.
Too expensive. Now we don't have a big calculate resource, so this model generates noise. So we think retrieval free music and okay.
Okay, I get. Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Actually, I'm curious about why you use free music for the game music datasets. Since I know that there are game music datasets that are publicly available, such as NSMDB or YM243MDB. Actually, the latter was the dataset paper that I wrote last year's senior.
Sorry, slowly speak English. Sorry, please.
I'm just curious about why you didn't use any existing game music dataset for your research.
すでにゲーム音楽のデータセットがあるのに、コピーライトフリーの音楽のデータを使ったのはどうしてか。
Thank you for your question. It is avoid copyright issue. To use game, if use game BGM library, it is have maybe copyright issue. So we use free music to avoid copyright issue.
I mean, there are publicly available datasets for research purposes. Actually, I have another question if time allows. Can I? Let me just put the question. It seems that even though the scene is a scene, like as a fighting scene, the retrieved output game music, it should be different based on the game visual texture. Such as some cute games have very cute BGM for the fight scene, and some very serious game has very serious music for fight scene. Did you also observe that kind of results when you did your research?
I think serious or comical or more can receive by input video, but this method, I think this method have limits, so we think new method. Oh, okay.
Okay. My question was quite difficult to answer.
Does your model consider any temporal visual aspect of video and music?
This method don't think music or audio temp, but if include tempogram to the audio features.
I mean, you input write the video, right? But if you don't consider any temporal features, then you can just input the image from the capture of the video game. Isn't it?
We use short video to not consider a tempo video.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, time's up. Thank you for your presentation. Let's move on to the next presentation. The next presentation is a music exploration interface based on vocal timbre and pitch in popular music from Tomoya Nakano.
Thank you, Chair, for introducing myself. Hello, my name is Tomoya Nakano. I'm with AIST Japan. Today I'd like to talk about music exploration interface based on vocal timbre and pitch. This interface is focusing on singing voice. The singing voice is one of the most important elements in music. In fact, there are many methods and interfaces focusing on various factors on singing voices how they proposed. For example, vocal timbre, vocal range profile, it means a pitch and intensity representation, lyrics, singing style, and gender. There are many this kind of multiple factors in singing voice, so we propose a new interface that allows for exploratory music retrieval by switching and integrating much factors of singing voice, not just a single factor. So which factors do we target? To answer this question, we conduct a survey of preference for singing voice when listening to music. We conduct a questionnaire survey with 20 participants, males and females in their 20s. We have 3 surveys, as you can see. So I explain about that. So first, we explain about survey 1, which is for measuring the participants' musical ability using the Goldsmith Musical Sophistication Index, called Gold MSI. This is the result. So we can see the distribution of Gold MSI scores of the participants. We focus 3 subscales: active engagement, singing abilities, and the general sophistications. The higher the scores, the more sophisticated with regard to those subscales. And the right-hand side figure, singing ability scores are indicated by different colors. You can see the relations between active engagement and general sophistication. Based on the result, so the participants had an average interest and ability in music, because all median values of the left figure, all the scores were around 4. And in these subscales, the participants with low and high values are well balanced. So based on these participants, we asked to them to write freely about their favorite singing voices by using open-ended descriptions of the characteristics of their favorite singing voices. So these are words participants used to describe their favorite singing voices. So we can see the red words, which is singing descriptors. We call this kind of words singing descriptors. Singing descriptors related to pitch and timbre were frequently used. For example, high pitch used with 10 times. On the other hand, the singing descriptors related to gender and singing ability or singing technique were not frequently used. That's why we focused on pitch and timbre of singing voices. The final survey, in which participants were asked to rate 3 vocal aspects on a 7-point Likert scale, we focused on vocal pitch height, vocal pitch range, and vocal timbre. This is a result. We can see the distribution of ratings of the 3 aspects. The higher the rate, the more they are aware of the aspect when listening to music. Based on this, so the average scores for vocal pitch height and vocal pitch range are higher than 4. This is 4.15 and 4.35. Oh, you could find the CSAT math puzzle. So the average score for vocal timbre was 6.1, which was also high. So we therefore, we believe, therefore, developing a music exploration interface focusing on vocal timbre and pitch is worthwhile and effective. So that's why we developed our interface. This is our proposed interface. So our interface locates songs in a 2-dimensional timbre map and a 2-dimensional pitch map. These two 2D maps can be switched. Each circle represents a song. In this map, similar songs are located closely. Therefore, users can visually find singing voices similar to their favorite singing voices. In addition to the map location, so each circle is visualized in a different color reflecting the characteristics of the songs. In this case, we use timbre 2D map and the timbre map card using vocal gender. You can see the horizontal axis of this timbre map is correlated with gender. Actually, the correlation coefficient was 0.8, high value, which means placing female songs on the right and male songs on the left. Not only the singer gender, but also we use this kind of aspect to color songs. Singer name, song title, and singer gender as a metadata of the song. And we calculate automatically center of gravity of the average male spectrum, which is used as a timbre information, and the center of gravity of the pitch histogram. And finally, we use singing descriptors by annotating human annotator. We use clear, cool, and powerful as a timbre descriptors, and the high range, mid range, and the low range used as pitch descriptors. This shows data and back-end processing. We used 102 songs sung by 17 female singers and 17 male singers. All the songs had at least 10,000 views on YouTube as of December 2022, even though they are cover versions of 36 original Japanese popular music. We do back-end processing and mean and variance of MSCCs were computed as timbre vectors by singing voice separation using hybrid DEMAX proposed by the Forces 2021. And pitch histograms were computed as pitch vectors by pitch sequence estimation using OmniSAR proposed by Wu 2021. And we use principal component analysis was performed on timbre and pitch vectors to create 2D maps. In addition, the the 102 songs were tagged, were annotated by 6 annotators, 3 male and 3 female. Singing descriptors can be used for coloring to improve the user's understanding of the map. 3 annotators per song were assigned to tag to annotate the singing voice. And at least one of the 3 was of gender different from that of the singer of the song, as shown on the upper right corner. And we use 42 singing descriptors in this annotation process. But so in our development, we use only the top 3 descriptors of pitch and timbre were used. As a pitch descriptors, high range, mid range, and low range. And clear, powerful, cool used as timbre descriptors. So this is a screenshot of our interface, and I have a very quick demo because there is time limitation. This is our interface. So unfortunately, the interface is based on Japanese, but so this is a 3D map, timbre map, and we can change the color of the song by clicking these radio buttons. This is a song and singer name and gender, or singing descriptors, clear, cool, powerful. We can change the map on the pitch map. We can see the center of gravity of the timbre vector and the pitch vector. And also we can see the timbre vector by choosing several songs. And we can compare these timbre vectors, and we can compare several pitch histograms. Yeah, that's very quick, but it's our interface. So we conduct evaluation with 60 participants, males and females in their teens or 20s. These were assigned of 3 groups. Group 1 is that using our proposed interface based on vocal timbre and pitch. And group 2, in this participants used the interface based on pitch, only pitch-based functions. And the group 3 used participants used interface based on timbre-based functions only. These all participants answered question, and we conduct questionnaire survey based on the user engagement scale long form called UESLF, proposed by Outliers 2018. And all participants answer open-ended questions about the pros and the cons of the interface. Participants were paid 1,800 Japanese yen for their participation in the experiment. The duration of the experiment is approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes. This is the result on UESLF engagement scale, user engagement scale. The higher the score, the better on each subscale. Subscale means focused attention, perceived usefulness, aesthetic appeal, reward factor, and overall. The overall means averaging of other 4 scores. We analyze this result by using a one-way ANOVA, which confirmed the significant difference only in PU, perceived usefulness, at the 5% level. But the results of Bonferroni's multiple comparison test based on Wilcoxon lump sum test showed no significant difference in all combinations. This suggested that the type of interface did not affect user engagement. We consider these reasons. There is two reasons maybe. So participants may have failed group 2 using pitch only function and group 3 using timbre only function only, but enough for the participants to find their preferred songs from a new perspective. And the interface group 1, our proposed interface has become more complex. We think this is these reasons on this small difference. And the other results here are key answers to the open-ended questions, which is about the pros and cons of our the interfaces. The functions most frequently described as pros is timbre and pitch maps. And the function most frequently described as cons is design and usability. And answers regarding the need to focus on multiple factors of the singing voice, the vocal timbre feature was more suitable by 13 participants in group 1, and the pitch feature was more suitable by 7 participants in group 1. The combination of vocal timbre and pitch facilitated their exploration by 7 participants. The 3 participants wanted information on vocal timbre in group 2. From these answers, we can confirm the need for our interface that allows exploration by multiple factors, as vocal timbre is best for some users and the pitch for others. This is conclusion. We could propose a music exploration interface that flexibly visualizes vocal timbre and the pitch as well as singing descriptors. Key contributions there. We show the appropriateness of using vocal timbre and pitch as factors in music exploration by conducting a questionnaire survey. We developed and evaluated a music experience interface that uses combination of vocal timbre and pitch as a future work. So we will build an interface that improves usability. Thank you so much, very much.
Thank you for interesting presentation. Okay, let's move on to the discussion. Do you have any questions?
Hi there, thanks for the presentation, very thorough scientific pipeline, I think. I'm just curious, a very short question, but you mentioned all the participants were in their 20s. Was this intentional or just because they were like students and it were easy to draw to the study?
Yeah, they are all basically all university students.
Thank you.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. So actually I'm curious about the potential target of the interface. So could you explain maybe again about the target of your interface concretely and detail?
Okay, in this case we used only Japanese popular music, so the main target is the younger people usually listening this kind of popular music. For example, university students or something.
Thank you. My personal impression is that this interface is useful for the who are eager to improve their singing skill and then finding their song that is that has good compatibility of the singers. So the question is about another question is about how. So do you think anything about the listener who is enjoying the singing?
Oh, thank you. Very nice question. So actually, we developed this interface. There is a background. So this interface is for listener, but also, as you say, for singers, because there are many cover versions of singing voice on the YouTube as called Me Singing. So there are many, how to say, amateur cover versions of singing voice. So this interface can be used to find such singers who want to find their, how to say, their
some suitable song.
Suitable song, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, very much.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Thank you for interesting presentation. You mentioned to create 2D map. You used PCA, and did you use any other dimensional reduction method?
Yeah, so in this case we tried just only PCA, but as you can see, so we can choose some different methods, for example TSNE or something. So, but in this case we evaluated only PCA method.
Thank you very much.
We have just a little time. Do you have any other short question? Nothing? Okay. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
So let's move on the last presentation. And the last presentation is exploring diverse sounds and identifying outliers in the music corpus from the Kai.
So, hello everyone, I'm Lee, and I'm from the University of Technology of Sydney. So today I'm going to represent my recent topic on exploring the diverse sound, identifying outliers in music corpus. So firstly, let's move to the background of this study. So current music recommendation systems influence the main way for people to discover the music, especially such as on streaming platform, YouTube, or Spotify. And the automate music recommenders can inherit bias for their creators and data, potentially leading a fair exposure and erring for artists, and challenging the fairness of the regulations. So the research on the fairness of music recommendation systems is fierce and scattered, so we just need a focus study on how the system can handle diversity and the uniqueness of the music discovery. So let's move on the retail work. So currently, the music recommendation system utilizes users' behavior by utilizing the large-scale user and music features data to produce the recommendations tailored to specific users. Another study proposed that the machine learning-based recommendation systems can result in fair outcomes due to a model created and trained by the humans. Those intrigues the bias, which may be carried over. So the existing music recommendation systems often emphasize on the popular items, leading the gaps between the known and less known music. And the music and the analysis of the music outliers has attached less research attention, as they are often considered as the environment data and move during the pre-process steps. So for the common outlier detection approaches, there are clustering-based methods, density-based methods, and distance-based methods, and statistical-based methods. So for clustering-based methods, which is using clustering algorithm to classify the majority of the elements of the set, while also clearly define the outliering elements of the set. The density-based methods identify the outliers as points in the low-density region within a data set. Compared to the distance-based method, determining the distance between the points consider outliers as points with large distance from their nearest neighbors. And also there are some statistical methods which is using the measurement such as the mean, standard deviations, variations to identify the data point for outside the defined range. So in summary, we can find current music recommendation systems often inhibit bias that favors popular music or mainstream music, leaving a vast amount of music remaining unheard. And also, on the other hand, the automatic music recommenders can inherit bias from their creators and training data, or potentially can lead unfair exposure and bias can be carried over. And also, we found the uniqueness and diversity factors are normally less be considered by the current recommendation systems. And the topic of outliers has charged less attention on research as they often considered as irrelevant data. So this is the main objective of this work. So we're trying to explore the potential of the music outliers for the music discovery. So to achieve this, we have three objectives. So firstly, we propose an approach to describe these music outliers. Second, we categorize these outliers to meaningful categories. And finally, we're analyzing the outliers and trying to find any potential use of them. So basically, the experiment today can be contained in three main stages. So data set creations, outlier detections, and lastly, outlier analysis. So for database creation, we use the mini-song data set, and we select the artist and then we manually hear them and we label the outliering songs and categorize them into their outliering labeling. So in this case, we get a outlier data set derived from the MSD. And then we fit the outlier detection algorithm, we selecting the artist, and then we analyzing the artist's dominant style, and then we select outlier clusters, and finally we collect these outlier clusters for the later analysis process. So for analysis of outliers, so firstly we cluster in the artist style using Gaussian mixture models, and then we selecting the outlier clusters, and then we categorizing them into the categorizations, and finally we summarize and describe this outliers type. So as shown on the picture on the left, as you can see, the region with in the blue area, there are the main two dominant style of this artist, and the region labeled in the red area are the outliering songs from this artist. So this is an example of any artist out there. So let's move on the result. So firstly, for the auto outlier detections, we using a confusion matrix, and there's four metrics, which is positive rate, false positive rate, and true negative rate, and false negative rate. The label in NA indicates the artist does not have the outliers, and we have the top performance of Blue Locust Court and Wilson Pocket, which is of this artist has only one dominant style, and it's pretty obvious. And then we have some no performance, such as the Wake and Bioza, due to this artist has multi-style in their music album, and also they have obvious the patterns. So to summarize, we find our algorithm demonstrate strong specificity on particularly on the artists they have one dominant style, but very sensitive across different artists. So for the outlier categorizations, we found there are many six types of the outliers, which is error, speech, intro, noise, sound effect, and general. So for the error, normally due to the feature structure interpretation, such as double tempo and maybe noise, and also for the speech, it normally has low loudness while range compared to others. They usually have 6 dB, something like that. And the feature extractor normally misinterpretation output 0 in tempo. So for the intro, they are normally like very short pieces of music, but they don't follow a typical music structures. And for noise, such as jitter, glitch, or recording, they are normally happen due to the recording issues. And there's also some sound effect. So they are basically some album used to enhance the music narratives. And their loudest range can also be wide, such as the standard or sound effect. Finally, the general outlier is what we are looking for. So the general outliers is a complete songs that hears an artist's typical style, but different in sound and style. Yeah, this is basically what we are looking for. So for the result of the data set, we found there are 76 outliers out of 320 songs. There are 19 error and 6 speech, 5 intro, 5 noise, 5 sound effect, and 36 there are general outliers. And for discussion, we can see the algorithm can identify the artist which has a obvious dominant style, such as the artist shows on the left, and you can see the blue area are the main style of this artist, and then the area in the cross are the outlier style. But compared to the artist on the right, such as Needs, an algorithm has some struggle to identify the outlier because they have multiple styles. For example, Rodney has 2 main dominant style, but specific aesthetic on a certain tempo, and also they have the outlier section that is not sharing the same boundary between 2 different dominant style. So in this case, the algorithm struggle to find them. And for the property of the general outliers, we found to form a genuine music outliers, they must have 3 properties. Firstly, forms a complete songs, and distinctness, and they should also be non-adherent. So for a complete songs, that means the outliers must be a songs. It can't be an intro or just a random part of the pieces from a song. And they also should be more than 1 section in these songs. That means you should at least follow certain music structure, for example, A, B, A, B. Also, it has 1 repeat pair of the sections, so it can have A, B, A, B, not like A, B. The second property is the distinctness. So the outlier songs must belong to A clusters, first, yeah. And they are, for any feature space, the outlier in songs should be concluded in the minor clusters. Should be excluded from minor class, sorry. Okay. And the outlier with the song occurrence greater than 0, they should be greater than 0 and less than threshold are defined as outlier in classes. So for example, you can see the dot in grade, they are outlier classes greater than certain stated correspond a large enough proportion to other music in the same structure in the main artist cohort. So for example, in this artist music structure, they have most dominant style on A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, C, B style. They have different pairs of the music structure as in the Outliers structure. So to summarize of our work, we proposed a way to describe music outlier, especially on general music outliers, and apply the outlier detection to our dataset. And secondly, we found that the property of the distinctness is a variable start point to detecting the music outliers. And we also found our current approach has some limitations, especially on detecting music structures and handling artists, especially they have multiple styles, and then also these structures handle like the outliers that share a common boundary between two dominant styles. For the future work, we can handle the artist. We need to improve our approach to handle the artist more than one style, and also we should introduce more music features such as timbre, harmony, and chroma, and also we can consider other outlier general constraints, for example, like former complete songs and non-appearance. And lastly, we can also exploring the different clustering methods, for example, like the models like M for non-circular data. So that includes my presentation. So thank you, everyone.
Could you show the slide describing GMM clustering learning?
Yeah. This one?
Yes. So would you describe what kind of artist styles did you use for this clustering? What kind of audio features or?
Audio feature, okay. We mainly using tempo and loudness to plot the audio artist songs.
Oh, would you say that word again?
Tempo and loudness.
Tempo and loudness.
Yes.
Are they automatically extracted from audio signals of those MSD?
No, it's provided by the MSD, and we just use the existing data for the MSD data.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. How about did you try other audio features as well?
Not currently, because this is two main features provided by MSD, and we can definitely integrate other features, and they probably gonna work. But for the focus of our work, this is just a start point to exploring whether the outlier songs they can also have some potentials in other use cases. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I just had a question about your data set creation. When you're selecting the artists, what was the process? Was it popularity, familiarity? Like, how did you decide which artists to
That's a good question. So for the simplicity, currently we just use a random number generator, just randomly pick up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? So I have a question first. So in this paper, you define some definition of distinct and so on here. And did you use the equations to program to detect the outliers?
No.
So you just perform the.
And not just say that firstly we use the GMM web simple clustering algorithm to detect these outliers. And then we trying to find some insight of these outliers, and we found finally a outliers that can form a general zones. They must have they usually have these three constraints. Then we from this insight we derive form the equation. So it's been later work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
So you started with the outliers caused by music recommendation, right?
Sorry?
You started with the issue of music recommendation, problem of music recommendation, right? But these outliers are actually just outliers of that kind of GMM clustering. So those outliers are not necessarily outliers of music recommenders. So how do you recognize that issue?
Yeah. That's a good question. So the main focus of this work can't be just a starting point. We are trying to, because the most music recommendation system they focus on keep recommend people on popular items, especially to the similar items, and we want to look at the recommendation process in a different way. So we can use the property of the outlier zones to identify. These outlier zones can give the users another perspective. They maybe can discover some new music. For example, if you know an artist and they have a music that sounds really distinct to their dominance, but you never know it. And but if you hear these songs, you may find that you also, oh, that's a cool song. I didn't know that. So, like in this case, you can explore more music rather than keep listening the same similar things. So it's just kind of like provide a different way of perspective for the current music recommendation systems. So yeah.
So Utana's approach is to investigate the popularity. Just looking at the long tail of that kind of popularity, then you can find something less popular or least popular tracks. So you could have that kind of approach also. Instead of having that clustering.
Yeah, you are right. But that's also based on the social popularity point of view. My approach, my research want to focus on develop a system that can understand music content itself and analyzing it from the music structure rather than social media. Someone saying, oh, this is popular, so many people they hear it and this song is great. Rather than that, we want a system that can interpret music and they can understand from the music domain perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, time's up. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, all presentations are finished, and I would like to thank all presenters and our audience. Please give a big hand to presenters.
Thank you for coming here. So at 11, so we will have a closing ceremony, including the announcement of the best paper award. So don't go for such thing now. Okay. So for people who want to for people who use train tomorrow. So we have important information. Okay, so tomorrow, so reconstruction of a platform of the
Okay, let's start the closing session. First of all, thanks all. Big thanks to all and to each other. And I'd like to thank participants and the presenters and chairs and the organizers, everyone. Also, each of you, I think must thank to each other, everyone. Yes. So this is the start of the closing session. Then this is the menu of the closing session. First, thanks to sponsors. The next, some statistics and the best paper, who, and the message from the steering committee, and at the last, the staff, all staff on stage. Okay, this is very important thing. If you this conference is well organized, so the very big portion of the very organizedness is due to these four sponsors. So I would like to express my deep gratitude to these sponsors. First, distinguished sponsor, special interest group on music and computer, signals for short. This is the, as you probably know, domestic Japanese research community of computer and music. The second, the gold sponsor, the Piano Teachers National Association of Japan, PTNA for short. Thanks so much. And the third silver sponsor, as you probably know, too, Yamaha Corporation. Thank you so much. And commercial sponsor, Krypton Future Media Incorporated. This is famous Hatsune Group. Thank you so much. And those four logos are, I think, must be familiar with you. So some statistics I will show you. The general tendency has not been changed. They're all the same chart in the graph I showed on the very first day of the opening session. So the general tendency has not been changed, but a little bit numbers has been changed. See, the Japanese portion is. And also the numbers of participants by country is like this. This is the latest information. And third, the percentage of non-author participants by country. Like this. Okay. Next, best paper. So, Kitahara sensei will do that.
Good morning again. So from me, so we will announce the best paper award. Okay. So how to decide the award? So we selected a few papers as nominees according to the review scores. Then so we actually program committee chairs and steering committee chairs selected one paper from the nominees considering both the papers and the presentation. Okay, so we selected nominees. So 5 papers. Actually, so these are the finalist candidates of the best paper award. So these papers had particularly high review scores from the paper reviewers. Okay, and one is Max Graf and Matthew Barrett. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is incorrect. So combining vision and EMG-based hand tracking for extended reality musical instruments. The second nominee is Christopher Giulio Feng Shu Li and Li Su, interpretable rule learning and evaluation of early 20th century music styles. G. Ren, Li Jin, and George so reconstructing human expressiveness in piano performances with the transformer network. The fourth nominee is Eita Nakamura, Tim April, and Fabian C. Moss, historical changes of modes and their substructure modeled as a pitch distribution in plane jump from the 1/700 to the 1/15. 500. And the final nominee is Eita Nakamura, computational analysis of its selection and mutation probabilities in the evolution of code progressions. So, as I said, so these 5 papers had very high review scores, so close to the perfect scores. So actually, so we selected one paper from this 5 papers. So it was very tough work, but so we decided one paper as the paper award. Okay. This year's best paper award is Eita Nakamura. Computational knowledge of selection and mutation probability in the evolution of code progression. Come on. So actually, so we discussed which paper is the best for this best paper award. So actually, of course, the content, so the quality of paper is unbelievably high. And so in addition, he pointed out himself. So this paper is very multidisciplinary. Okay, so so he as he said, so it's related to computer science, of course, musicology, to physics, biology, and so on and so on and so on. So this paper completely, totally match the concept of CMMR, computer music multidisciplinary research. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Could you give us some comments?
So I'm really surprised. So it's a great honor for me, and I now here I have to study more. I work more harder to achieve much higher quality research. And as I mentioned in my talk, and he mentioned, so music evolution. I hope this is an emerging research field, and it's really multidisciplinary. So I really want to work with many of you researchers to develop this research field. So thank you very much.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Continue closing session. The next part is the message from the steering committee. So we have a steering committee consisting of these 4 people who are going to make a
Okay, so first of all, we would really like to thank Keiji and his team for a wonderful event that you've organized for us here. It was it was really great also that you could organize the online event in 2021. But I think that 2023 has nothing to do with 2021. Since it's, we did not taste the Japanese beer and all the delicious food that we get here, so it has been wonderful to be here. And I think also the conference went so smooth thanks to all the people who worked behind them, very discreet people, a lot of students, I think, and I think we should really give them a huge applause. And so we actually started to try to convince our Japanese colleagues to organize this event in Porto. I think it was in 2017, but it was they were not convinced at that time. So, but when we organized CMMR in Marseille in 2021, we started to be a bit more. 19, thank you. We had a more thorough discussion, and what we actually did was that we gathered around a bottle of pastis, which is the alcohol of Marseille, southern part of France, and that was really efficient. So we would like now to thank you by giving you a bottle of
Thank you very much.
that you can enjoy, whatever. Maybe you can even share with some of your students who have never tasted the pastis.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
So pastis is an efficient tool. Maybe sake is also very efficient, so I don't know. Yeah. So what did I forget to say? So we should have announced the next CMMR event during this presentation. Unfortunately, it's not. We don't have a firm decision yet, so the suspense will remain for some more time. But we will, of course, let you know as soon as we have the precise decision of where it will be next time. So the suspense is still ongoing. Yes, and I also forgot to say that I'm very thankful for the way you organized the CMMR. When it comes to the spirit, you understood the spirit of CMMR, and also by emphasizing the interdisciplinary aspect, and also the fact that we very much like to have a conference where we are together almost all the time. We have coffee breaks together. We go out in the evening together. So I think that this spirit was really remained. So this is how we want to keep it, and also the interdisciplinary aspect, mixing. That's also linked to the best paper prize, of course. Linking all these different research domains. That is really something that is very important for us. Music is a research object that we can work on all together and from any discipline, and this is something that and also from arts and so on. So this is something that we want to keep for the next upcoming events, and this is what I think makes this conference so special. So thank you again, organizer, for a wonderful event. It was so nice to be here. And it has been really an unforgettable event for us. So I don't know if you want to add something. No, it's okay. Okay, so thank you so much.
Finally, so I'd like you to all the staff of this conference from the top to the bottom. Okay, the co-general chair, Dr. Tojo Satoshi. Say something?
Yes, yeah. This year's slogan, Bridge After Storm, is my idea. Usually, when we say bridge over something, that is a word. But bridge over the time is of course COVID, but it's visually unpleasant. So I changed a bit on the bridge after storm. This is this year's slogan. Okay.
Next, scientific program chair, Kitahara Sensei.
So I hope everyone enjoyed this conference. So I believe this conference is wonderful. So we made a good conference because many people submitted a good quality paper. Thank you very much.
Next, music program chair, Shibayama Sensei.
Thank you very much for a warm and a very hearty cooperation with us. I'm deeply moved to together work. Thank you very much.
Demo program chair, Hamanaka Masatoshi Sensei. Truly, he is a bassist. Public relation chair, also Hamanaka Sensei and Shun Sawada Sensei.
Thank you very much and see you next time.
The next, treasurer, Matsubara Masaki Sensei.
Thank you for coming to this conference, and this year the financially also succeeded because the number of the participants are larger than we expected. So I also thank you for all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, next, sponsor chair, also Matsubara Masaki Sensei and Uehara-san. Also, she performed last evening how to use furoshiki.
Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed this conference and the furoshiki. Thank you.
She selected the furoshiki as a souvenir of this conference. Okay, next, proceedings and registration chair, the Aiko Uemura Sensei.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, local organizers. There are three professors. Hidefumi Omura Sensei.
This area is very traditional area in Tokyo and Japan. So I believe you enjoyed this area. Thank you very much.
Ryo Hatano Sensei from Tokyo University of Science.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming here. And I am very happy to share this opportunity, very nice opportunity. So thank you.
Also, the third is the Shiosawa Sensei over here. Lastly, the secretary, the Uehara-san, also over there. At the end, so I would like you to all of the student staff. So student staff, please stand up and turn to the
from me. I'd like to introduce one more person. Do you think who it is?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'd like to introduce General Chair Keiji Hirata.
So if you think that this conference is successful and joyful, so that is due to your contribution. Each of you contribute many things, many aspects. So I'd like to thank all of you. That's it. Okay, so this is the end of the closing session. Thank you so much. See you next CMMR. Okay, so
Lost and found, so we have a Japanese